How do you make a long distance relationship work? This is the question many of us grapple with. In today's video, I'm going to share with you 4 powerful tips that can make the difference in your long distance relationship. And don't forget, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to our YouTube channel, share with your friend that you know is in a long distance relationship. I know you want them to succeed, so please share this video with them. Hi everyone, my name is Sarah Onayemi. I am a trained counselor and a relationship coach, and I want to welcome you to the Love Learn Talk channel, where I share all things relationships. And if this is what you're looking for, you want to know how to be better in your relationship, you want to improve your relationship, or you even want to know how to get it right with marriage, this is the place for you. So please subscribe to our YouTube channel, like, and leave a comment in the comment section below. In today's video, I'm going to share with you 4 powerful tips that can help your long distance relationship thrive. Long distance relationship is getting common today more than ever before. People are relocating for different purposes. Some are moving out of their country to another country for education purposes. Some for search of a better life. So we have more people that are in long distance relationship now than ever before. And personally, I have experienced a long distance relationship before, during our courtship and even after our wedding. So I really understand how emotionally it can be when people are in a long distance relationship. So if you are in a long distance relationship, I really empathize with you. I know it's not easy, and I want you to know you're not alone, and this phase will definitely pass. Okay, so the number one tip that can help your long distance relationship thrive. And before I continue, I would like you to check the previous video that I made. I've made part 1 and part 2 of tips that can help your long distance relationship thrive, so you don't miss out of any of these tips. So the first tip that can help your long distance relationship thrive, okay, is that you don't want assumption to get in the way of your relationship. When you are in a long distance relationship, you don't want to give room for assumption. And what is assumption? Assumption is believing that a thing is true, holding on to a fact or holding on to a particular thing without a proof or without verifying if it's actually true. Okay, so when you're in a long distance relationship, because you can't see each other the way you used to, you're not able to meet each other or be together when you want to, the number one thing you don't want to get in the way is assumption. Okay, and I'll give a very clear example of what I mean. Take for instance, you send a message to your partner, or you're trying to call your partner, maybe at the scheduled time that you already scheduled that you were going to have conversation, and for reasons that you don't know, they are not picking up your calls, or they are not even responding to your text. You don't want to start assuming, okay, that or maybe my partner doesn't want to talk to me, or maybe my partner is seeing someone else, or maybe my partner doesn't like me again. You don't want to get into all of those assumptions, okay? The first thing you want to do is to ask questions. When you are able to reach each other, or when he or she finally responds to your text or your call. I have been trying to call you for this number of time. I'm wondering why you're not responding to my text. Is there something going on that I don't know about? Okay, you don't want to hold on to anything until you actually verify and ask questions. Okay, because when you're in a long distance relationship, one of the things you want to try to do is that you don't want to let anything affect your trust. as much as you don't doubt each other, but you also want to do all that you can to strengthen your trust. And part of the things that I think can be detrimental to your long distance relationship is when you are assuming things, when you're trying to connect the dots, especially when things don't go as you plan. Another example that I would like to share is maybe you already had a plan. You have actually thought things through, and you had a plan that maybe your partner was going to visit at so time, or maybe you were going to get united at so time, and it didn't even work out that way. Okay, you don't want to start assuming that, oh, maybe your partner is not keeping to their words again, maybe they are not interested in the relationships again. If there's anything that happens in your relationship, before you make assumption, you want to clarify first and foremost before you make assumption. If you're trying to call your partner and they are not picking your calls, or they are not responding to your texts, you never know what's happening at the other side. So you want to give a benefit of the doubts that, maybe he or she's not with her phone, or maybe there's electricity disruption, especially for people who live in places where electricities are not constant and consistent, or maybe he or she is not with her phone. But you don't want to make assumptions. You want to clarify first, okay? Or for example, maybe your partner told you they're having conversation with the opposite sex, which of course I'm going to get into in my next tip. They're having conversation with opposite sex. You don't want to assume that, they're having something to do with the opposite sex. My partner is now talking to an opposite sex, he's saying someone else. No, you don't want to do that. Before you hold on to anything, you want to clarify and be clear on what you're holding on to. And that's the first thing. The number two thing that I think it's very important, and it's kind of related to the first tip that I mentioned. When you get to your new location, okay, when you're in a long distance relationship, you want to do all that you can to introduce each other, to let people know you are in a relationship first, okay, to introduce each other in your different location. I remember when my husband left for his master's, one of the things he told me he did immediately when he got to his location was to use my picture, or our picture, the picture we took together, as a DP, picture on his computer, on his phone. So the very first thing is that if you're coming around him, even though we are not together, you don't even need to start asking questions before you know he's in a relationship already. And according to him, a lot of people will say, who is this beautiful lady, on your wallpaper? Who is this beautiful lady on your wallpaper, your laptop? And he will tell them, this is my fiance, we're planning to get married. Okay, so in your different location, you want to introduce each other. Okay, another thing we did when we were still apart was that my husband will call me and I will speak to some of his friends that are here. Okay, and when my husband also calls, I would also let him speak to some of my friends in my own location. Remember, I said in my first point that you want to build your trust as much as you can. Yes, you are not doubting each other, but you also want to, strengthen your trust, because now you are in a different location. You are not together. So you want to do all that you can to strengthen your trust. And part of the ways to do that is that you want to make everyone around you know that you are in a relationship. You want to make everyone around you know that there is someone in your life, okay? And for people who might even be thinking they want to try their luck, whether on the side of the guy or on the side of the lady, the moment you put that forward, they won't even come closer. And as your partner knows that you are doing things like that, it just gives them the confidence that you are still for them and you are still for each other. So if you have to use each other as a wallpaper, there's nothing wrong about that. There's nothing bad about that. Okay, this was one of the things that my husband and I did. when we were still apart, and it really worked. Because before you know, people just ask straight questions. Oh, who is this guy? Or who is this lady? And you can tell them, oh, she's my wife, he's my husband, or he's my fiancé or my fiancée. Okay, so you want to introduce each other. It's not wrong to say, oh, I'm speaking with my fiancé. Oh, my fiancé, would you like to say hi to my friends and my new location? And you do that, you know, vice versa to each other, so that you can strengthen your relationship. The number 3 thing that I think can also help you, and is also related to the second point that I just mentioned. When you're in a long distance relationship, in fact, any relationship at all, boundaries is very, very important. So when you are now in a long distance relationship, you need to set boundaries, okay? In your new location, both of you need to set boundaries. It is not a time where you just have, unnecessarily you have the opposite sex around you without giving explanation as to why they are around you. Okay, for example, if you are working with a colleague, or maybe and it's the opposite sex, you want to make explanation in your communication. I made the first and the second parts of tips to help you thrive in your long distance relationship, so you want to check that. I really talked on communication there. Okay, you want to communicate clearly. Oh, there's this colleague of mine, or there's this classmate of mine, or this is what we are doing together. He or she calls me to ask for this, I call them to ask for this. You want to state it clear to your partner. Okay, it's a way of giving them the assurance that you are still for them, and it's a way of you giving your partner the assurance that you are still theirs and you are still for each other. So you want to set that boundary with an opposite sex. For example, in your different location, if you have to go out with friends, you have to let your partner know, oh, I'm going out with so person, and most times it doesn't have to be an opposite sex. If there's any reason why you're going to have like a one-on-one relationship with an opposite sex when you are in a long distance relationship, you need to communicate that to your partner. Maybe you are going out for a work purpose or something, you need to communicate that to your partner. Okay, you don't want to assume that they are going to understand. You don't want to start saying like, oh, I believe you should trust me, that I'm not doing that. No, when you're in a long distance relationship, you don't leave anything to chance. Okay, you want to be clear and constantly communicate with your partner. For example, if you probably meet anybody that is new and they are opposite sex, you want to talk about it. Oh, I met this person today, they are helping me with this, I'm helping them with this, this is what brought us together. You want to constantly communicate that, because you are not in the same location, the distance is a lot, so you want to communicate that. You cannot over communicate when you are in a long distance relationship. Every detail is important. And the last thing that I think can help your long distance relationship thrive is that you want to show some understanding. Yes, long distance relationship can be very delicate, and what I mean by that is, especially for those that are traveling out of their country to another country and you're leaving each other for that period of time, like I said in my other videos, you might want to check that out. You want to talk things through, have a plan. What's the plan to make sure that both of you reunite as soon as you can? And as much as you have these plans, some of these plans might not work exactly the way you want it, okay, or exactly the way you plan it, because when you're in a long distance relationship and it's between one continent or one country and the other, a lot of things are not in your control. Okay, for example, in my own case, we actually planned to get married in 2019. No, we actually planned to get married, I think, June of 2020 or March of 2020, but eventually that didn't happen. We finally got married in December of 2020, so it didn't happen when we wanted it to happen. Okay, and even after our wedding, okay, I wanted to join my husband like 3 months after our wedding, but that didn't happen until like a year after our wedding. Okay, did we plan it that way? No. Was it something we could have controlled? No, it was all about immigration issues and visa denial, and you couldn't have controlled that. Okay, so you want to show some understanding on both sides. For example, for people who travel for school, my husband traveled for school, okay, and I was in Nigeria. I know that's quite demanding, when you are schooling in this part of the world. So I want to show some understanding, even when he's supposed to call me, at the time that we schedule to have conversation, and he's not able to do that. I don't get angry or offended. Of course, many times we would always communicate whatever changes that's going to happen in the plans that we have, okay, but I'm not going to get offended, or maybe you said, I'm preparing for exams, you won't be able to talk regularly. I understand. And to the other person who is in the other location, you also want to understand that they have a need, even if they are not schooling right now, but they also have a need. So you don't want to say things like, I'm the one schooling, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. You should understand. No, you both need to show understanding on both sides so that your relationship can thrive, okay? And if there's anything that you think you are not comfortable with, you don't want to leave that to chance. You want to constantly talk things through and make sure you resolve issues when you need to. So thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe to our YouTube channel, share with your friend that is in a long distance relationship. I know you want them to succeed, so please share and leave a comment in the comment section below. If you have been in a long distance relationship before, I'd like you to share some of those tips that you think had worked for you from the video, or you even have other tips that I did not mention or actually worked for you in your long distance relationship. I'd like you to share this in the comment section below so that other people can learn and they can also thrive in their long distance relationship. Thank you so much for listening to me. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, and I will see you another time.